Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Lady Parts podcast.
Hi.
Just in case we haven't mentioned it before, it's almost Mimi's birthday.
I'm going to be another year older.
We haven't mentioned my birthday so much when it happened. How come?
Well, maybe we weren't...
We didn't have as many movies to see.
That's it.
Okay, let's start with the stats.
We still do watch TV.
Yes, but this is an exciting time for us. We watch a lot of
Anyway,
good movies.
you're young. Every one of my birthdays brings me closer to the edge, so it's much more important.
I disagree. I absolutely disagree. But that's a story for another time. So we tallied 42 shows this week in primetime shows, and out of which written or co-written by a woman, 28, which is 67%. Pretty cool.
Very good.
2/3. Directed by a woman, only 12, 29%, which
That's
seems to be hovering around a third is where it seems to be. I'm hoping that as soon as the L word starts, we're going to have better stats.
I did read an article though that
something about an all-time high.
Of women directors.
There are definitely more.
Yeah.
It's just not enough because we have such a long way to go. But we have good things to tell you about today.
Excellent things.
Starting with a movie we had to wait months to see. We told you about it months and months ago when we were still on the vineyard, and we never got to see it.
Never appeared anywhere.
Well, it kind of came and went. It's called After the Wedding. It is on. It's streaming right now. You have to pay for it. We paid $5.99 on Prime.
Even though they said it was $4.99 when you look on IMDb.
It always shows $1 less. I don't know why.
Worth every penny.
But it is available also on YouTube and other formats, and just briefly, because we have mentioned it before, it was written and directed by Bart Freundlich. I don't think
he calls himself Freundlich. I think he probably...
Freundlich?
Yeah, I think for Freundlich, maybe.
No idea.
I think you're very
No, it's German. I'm trying to make it German. And it is based on the original screenplay by Susanna Bier and Andres Thomas Jensen. Susanna Bier, if you haven't seen The Night Manager, really, you should see
Excellent.
The Night Manager. We've loved her since.
If for Olivia Colman alone. Exactly.
But
who was pregnant while she was making it and plays her very pregnant.
And she wasn't pregnant in the script, but
Nope.
Susanna Bier, when she wanted Olivia Colman was pregnant. They wrote it into the script, and I think it added
such
so
a
much.
great dimension. Yes.
Yep. And so we love Susanne Bier, and the movie was originally 2006 movie, was based in Copenhagen, and it starred the story was about two men and a woman, and in this iteration it's about two women and a man, and boy, the two women that they have playing these roles are Julianne Moore and Michelle Williams. And I have to tell you, since Fosse Verdon, Michelle Williams is no longer that far away from Julianne Moore in my list of top actresses, which is saying a lot.
I have loved her since
Dawson's Creek. I know. Meaning, if there are two things she likes to mention is this, and she's voted for Kelly Clarkson in the first season of
150 times a night, like some sort of a cuckoo little fangirl.
In other words, Mimi spots talent a mile away.
Yes, I do.
Anyway, this also stars Billy Crudup as the man of the triangle, and Abby Quinn as the daughter. We'll let you find out. Quinn. Who did I say?
You said Queen because of
Abby
your
Quinn.
Israeli
No,
accent.
I meant Abby Quinn. Anyway, the story is about an American who works in an orphanage in India. That's Michelle Williams. And Julianne Moore is a very rich woman living in New York with her husband, Billy Crudup. And she calls Michelle Williams' character to New York in an offer to donate money for her orphanage.
Quite a bit of money.
Right. And they find out that there is something going on. Much more than that.
Oh, yes. Therein lies the tale.
Now, we'll let you find out the tale because we don't want to spoil really anything about it.
No.
But I will tell you that the trailer makes it seem like a completely different movie. The trailer makes it seem like a thriller. We kept waiting for something bad to happen, something sinister, something... and it's not what it's about.
No.
And the reason I'm telling you is because I don't think it will spoil your experience. I think quite the opposite. I think waiting for something sinister to happen.
Puts an edge that is unnecessary.
And I found that it was kind of an anticlimax because I kept waiting for something to happen that didn't happen, when in fact the movie itself was a beautiful human story. It didn't need that edge. I mean, it was good of them to keep us guessing for a while, not knowing what's going on, what's going to happen, who's who, what's what. But we didn't need to think that there was going to, constantly wait for something to happen around the corner.
It's good enough.
Exactly.
And as Liron said to me earlier, it actually is... when you do find everything out, it's sort of an anticlimax because you're expecting something huge, earth-shaking, terrifying.
Big revelation.
Yes, and it's a very human story.
Yeah. The performances are beautiful.
Oh, wonderful.
The movie is very touching, and we really recommend it. So After the Wedding, currently you can rent it for a few dollars online.
And now, in not a completely different vein, another human story about marriage. This is a marriage that's, it's called A Marriage Story.
How original.
Isn't it? And it was written and directed by Noah Baumbach, who is sort of the king of stories about crumbling marriages. And it stars the divine Scarlett Johansson, Merritt Wever, Adam Driver. It's really Laura Dern, Ray Liotta, and Alan Alda, but the stars are Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, who play this couple who really, really love each other, but they've reached a point in their life where they just can't make it together. It's sort of like a gentle, more human Woody Allen movie almost. And it's actually one of the best films I've seen all year. I was so moved by it. It's also very funny. The performances are sublime. Oh my God, they are so good. Everybody in it is wonderful. And I just loved it. I think it's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I couldn't recommend it more highly, even though it's about
a very sad subject,
story,
yeah.
And there's a child involved, a boy, and they're trying to keep their family together while their marriage is falling apart. Mm-hmm. And it's really excellent, excellent, excellent. You must see it if you like stories about humans and you like good acting.
It's coming out December 6th, so mark your calendars. You have a little bit of a wait, but and I missed it because I was in Israel when you went to see it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm eager to see it, and you said you would watch it again with me.
Definitely see it again.
So Marriage Story coming out December 6th in theaters near you. Now there's a new streaming service in town,
but
it's a very different kind of a streaming service. So it's Spectrum Originals. I don't know how much of the country Spectrum actually covers, but Spectrum, as you may know, is a cable provider, and we have it here in New York, and you might have it around the country, and it has its own shows, its own original content now that it shows as part of the cable package. We don't pay special for it unless at some point they say, well, now that you've liked our shows, we're going to make you pay for them.
Yes, well, now we won't like your shows and we won't pay for them, so there.
But while we have it for free, and hoping that some of you are going to be able to get these shows, I don't know if maybe worldwide, maybe they'll be licensed around the world through some of your providers. I'm going to start with something that I completely was surprised that it was rebooted, though I shouldn't be, because really, as I've been saying, my whole youth I'm reliving my youth through all these series that are coming back from the 90s. And this is a reboot of Mad About You. The sitcom starring Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt, or should I say Helen Hunt and Paul Reiser. And it was also created by Paul Reiser, Danny Jacobson, and Peter Tolan. The first episode, which we saw, was written by Paul Reiser, directed by Helen Hunt, and they both came up with the concept and the story together.
Cool.
Yeah. The first 6 episodes are already there. The next 6 are going to be on December 18th, and you can actually, on demand for free, can go back and watch all of the original 90s seasons. And I read something about a very interesting take on the fact that shows like Roseanne and Will and Grace, many of the reboots that we've seen happening have kind of a political relevance because they've always had a political bent, and how
could they not? Because politics is sort of everything right now in our
Well,
lives.
but they originally were also very political, and so bringing them back now made sense because they had new stuff to say, and so they were asking, well, what does Mad About You have to say that is new? And you know what? It doesn't need to have anything.
Say anything about politics right now.
It doesn't need to.
First episode, which is what we saw.
Well, I think what it's about really is about this couple that we watched when they were young and starting their way in New York. And now we're revisiting them when they're older. Their daughter, also, by the way, played by Abby Quinn from After the Wedding that we just saw. Very good, by the way. They're all very good. Their daughter is going off to college.
Let's not give them. There's a punchline.
There's a punchline, which is very funny, very funny. But they are empty nesters now in this gorgeous New York apartment.
It's so big.
And
you could live in that kitchen.
You can't relate unless you've lived in New York. Anyway, and so now they're learning they're rediscovering themselves, rediscovering their marriage, maybe finding out that their idea of what their marriage is about now that they're alone again is not in sync. It's very funny. It's very well written.
I laughed so much in this episode. And I was a fan of the show before, but I was not like an over-the-moon fan. But I really, really enjoyed this episode very, very much.
Yes, and I found that the chemistry was still there, the timing, the performances. There are a bunch of other actors who are also wonderful, like Richard Kind and Anne Ramsey, and some guest performances coming up from Carol Burnett.
Don't forget about
Cloris Leachman. What am I saying? Cloris Leachman. Jerry Adler.
Our Christmas party once a year friend.
He's our 6th degree of separation from literally everybody.
Exactly.
We really, really enjoyed this first episode. I'm looking forward to watching more. And I love that this show has a lot to say about, again, this podcast is all about the human story, about marriage, about family, and just about life. It doesn't all have to be political.
Doesn't have to be.
So, Mad About You, the reboot, is right now on Spectrum. Yes, I know. Right now, it's all about politics because we're all watching the impeachment proceedings.
And by the way,
which also, by the way, stars women.
When they make the movie of the rise and fall, please, of Donald Trump, I have cast Fiona Hill with Kristen Scott Thomas, and everybody agrees with me.
And I want Meryl to play Ivanovich.
Yes, to play Maria Ivanovich.
So we have it. I mean, they're going to have to make the movie. Yes, we are ready. So anyway, Mad About You is already, as I said, the first 6 episodes are already there, and there's another show that actually started quite a few months ago.
May, yes, but I caught up with it while you were in Israel,
right?
And then I stopped because I figured you might want to see it. It's my brain just went dead. LA's Finest. And it's a cop drama, sort of based on the Bad Boy movies, but the stars are 2 women, Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba. And let me tell you, these are kick-ass chicks. This is really an exciting, good series. I really enjoyed it. I watched a couple of episodes before I decided to stop and see if Liron would watch it with me. Jessica Alba is a single mother, and so she's a little bit less crazy than Gabrielle Union, who is completely
hardcore,
fearless, hardcore.
She's the sister of somebody from the original franchise, yeah.
And she is a wild thing, I'll tell you. It is really, really good. It's wonderful to see these 2 beautiful women out there taking names and whatever that phrase is, and kicking ass for sure. I liked it very, very much. I think it's well written. It's well acted. They have lovely chemistry, and I recommend it if you like TV, if you like cop dramas, and especially cop dramas starring women.
Of course, who doesn't? LA's Finest, also on Spectrum right now, and I think there's talk about a second season. Also upcoming on Spectrum Originals, something that we look forward to. Apparently, we missed it. There was a series on Discovery called Manhunt Unabomber, and it was an anthology series, and Spectrum bought it for a few seasons, but the second season is going to be starring Judith Light, which is why we know about it at all, and it's going to be Manhunt Lone Wolf, and it's going to be all about Richard Jewell.
She will not be playing Richard Jewell.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past her to be able to do it.
I would.
But there seems to be, I don't know if it's an anniversary or something, as you said, but there seems to be a lot about Richard Jewell. We actually have a movie waiting for us right now.
The timing is kind of bad for
Well, unless you watch the movie and then you decide you want to see a longer version, seeing more of the detail,
Some more details,
the layers.
exactly.
But we are actually about to watch the new Warner Brother movie Richard Jewell starring Olivia Wilde, which is also supposed to be
And Kathy Bates is Richard Jewell's mother.
supposed to be very good. We have the screener. We'll watch it soon and tell you all about it. But anyway, so Spectrum Original seems to be, doing interesting things. We'll keep an eye on it, especially if it stays free.
Especially if it stays free.
Yeah, and I do hope that they make their shows available to the broader audience somehow. Speaking of streaming service.
Yes, we're not going to give you a lot of details. We haven't seen everything yet, but Apple TV Plus is one of the newest streaming services, and it's not one that we would necessarily boycott because it is its only thing.
Right.
It doesn't have any other platform that we're already seeing for free on network or paying for on HBO.
Right.
And it's got some really, really good shows on it. In particular, The Morning Show.
Which we knew in advance we were going to love.
We knew we were going to love it, but somewhere in the middle, I think, of the second episode, I turned to Leron and I said, I could four-letter word this show. I mean, not that I ever pull my punches on saying the word fuck, but just to say,
I love this show so much I could fuck it. That's what you say.
Exactly.
And it's true. I thought the same thing, by the way, which is...
Did you think of it in exactly those terms? I love this show so much I could fuck it.
I actually did. I thought this show is so hot because the combination of these two women, Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, and just the energy of their presence, their
intelligence,
again,
their power, their chemistry.
Again, I don't want to give away too much, but this is such an intelligent show. It's such a well-written, well-acted show. I went wild for it. There were a couple of episodes in the middle where it drifted off a little bit, but now it's picking up again. And so we really had to binge on that. But we did start watching the other shows as well.
Yes,
so
but I just want to say about this. This is the thing that I have loved the most that I've ever seen Billy Crudup do since he's grown up. I mean, he did some things when he was young, especially on stage, that I love.
It's a very interesting character.
Fabulous. He is a fascinating character. And... it's just so smart. And I'm sure you read about it, but if you didn't, they had a different kind of show in mind when they started this show, and then the Me Too movement happened.
Right.
And
Mad Lauer happened.
Well...
Two. I think...
I mean, it started off with Harvey Weinstein.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think that also
as soon as Matt Lauer came
because it's
into
about
play,
a morning show.
Yes, it's about a morning show. It's called The Morning Show. And...
it's such an empowering show.
They completely rejigged it, and that became a very important part of the show. And you will love this show. I can almost promise you.
It's empowering while making you hate the world. So you'll see.
As is so much.
Yes, and we'll tell you more about it. But we're watching everything that's right there now. And also there are a couple of shows that are upcoming that we're already binging on as well to let you know about. So we're very, very excited. We're planning to do a vlog about all the shows.
Didn't we watch something else from Apple TV?
We watched quite a few things. So far we've sampled For All Mankind, Dickinson, Truth Be Told, and we've watched almost all of The Morning Show. We need to watch Servant and C,
which I can't wait to
see. We will tell you all about them.
You know what C is about, right?
Yeah, we've given them a heads up, but we'll devote a vlog for this because it really, and we'll tell you about the streaming service also because it has some disadvantages that we need to mention, and so we'll talk about it. But just briefly before we go to our last item, I just want to tell you that this is holiday season. It's holiday season, and our favorite streaming service, Acorn TV, has its wonderful DVD box sets available for purchase as holiday gifts. We especially recommend the Ms. Fisher box sets. One of them, the older Miss Fisher.
That's a Christmas special.
It's a Christmas special, and it's a limited edition. Mm-hmm. Just so you know, if you are collectors, if you're interested in it, I don't know how many they have, and I don't know how long they'll be there, so get on it soon.
And I think there is also a Miss Fisher new box series.
Yeah, we
which
do have
did-
the new Ms. Fisher, yes.
Yes,
we
but
have.
also Miss Fisher has one too that we weren't able to.
You should definitely go on their website and check out their whole catalog because they have much more than what we've mentioned here.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Finally, it dawned on me that with my everything that's been going on, we didn't just sit here and talk to you a little bit about Julie Andrews. You may have seen from our Instagram page that...
I mean, Julie Andrews from Mary Poppins.
And The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music,
Yes,
which is
she
all
hasn't done
anybody
anything else.
seems to mention.
Yes, this is a little pet peeve of mine as a big Julie fan who's also, by the way, seen everything there's out there that's ever been done with or about Julie, that they always talk about Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. If I'm lucky, they mention The Princess Diaries. She has had such a body of work with so many important roles, with so many amazing accomplishments, and that's the only thing they can talk about. I am so tired of hearing the same stories about Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music over and over and over again, but I'll stop. Anyway.
We actually saw a surprising one on Extra. I was not that crazy about the interviewer, but she did talk about other shows.
She did.
Yeah.
Especially because this is, Julie is now making the rounds, and she is on everything.
God.
I mean, on every single talk show, everything.
How this 84-year-old woman is managing to live through this.
And doing live performances and traveling the world. She's just been to London to do a performance. So, yeah, she has more stamina than both of us put together, I think. I think she just has a very good work ethic.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty much what the book is about. It's called Homework.
Right.
And it's about her work in Hollywood. It starts after Broadway and goes to Hollywood, and then I think at the end of it she returns to Victoria, to Broadway.
Almost. But yes, so she is making the rounds right now to promote her new book, which is the second memoir that she's put out. The first memoir, Home, came out in almost over a decade ago, I think, and it was focused about her early years, her childhood, and then coming to Broadway, and then this is about Hollywood. And really what you see from this book is just that there is no such thing as glamour and no such thing as fame. It all comes at such a high...
Well, there is such a thing as fame.
Yes,
it's
but
just,
it comes at such a cost.
Yeah, it's really hardly worth it.
It really is. And, you see these people looking beautiful on the big screen and you think that their lives are so wonderful. They work so hard and they are put through so many hoops and so many... I read this book and I say, why would anybody even bother? I mean, really... But it's a very, very honest book, which actually focuses more even on her personal life than on her professional life, I think. But it's about that, trying to reach that balance, which I think is almost...
It's those years of her life, the Hollywood years.
When she tries to find the balance between her home life and her work life, and it's not easy. But seeing Julie live, and that was my first time. You were so lucky to see her in
Yes,
Victor
I
Victoria.
saw her in Victor Victoria and putting it together. Yes, I saw her. A peak.
I'm so jealous. There is something about Julie that is the kind of energy that she just walks into a room and you feel kind of like little magic floating about that unites everybody with so much love. I mean, she held
charming.
Everybody in the palm of her hand. Everybody was just hanging on her every word and smile and gesture. And I saw her twice. You came with me for one of those times. I just tell you, she's
a god.
She is a once in a not generation, several lifetimes. She is. There's this meme that I really love that says, if you have to be grateful for one thing, be grateful that in all the years you could have been born, you were born in the time of Julie
Andrews.
Yeah.
And I think everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
She also has been appearing with her daughter Emma, who co-wrote the book with her. And she's a very interesting woman.
Yes,
and,
they have such a beautiful relationship.
So much.
God. Hashtag mother-daughter goals. They're so wonderful together. And when you read this book and you see how much sacrifices both of them made, I think it says a lot when a daughter loves her mother so much, even after all this hardship and all these sacrifices. And they work together. They've published more than 30 books together.
Mostly children's books.
And we are now waiting for the third installment because this book, I think, stops just after That's Life. And I personally think that there has to be a book about both the Victoria the musical and, of course, the loss of her voice, which I think the world needs to have a documented.
Not only was it the worst thing that ever happened to her, it was a pretty big loss for
the
all
world.
of us.
Yes, for humanity, really. So if you need to speak about Julie Andrews, because I always need to speak about Julie Andrews,
she does.
hit me up.
Take it from me.
Hit me up. Just email us at ladypartstv@gmail.com and let's talk about Julie. So thank you for joining us for another week. We have a very, very busy week coming up with, and I assume at the end of it we'll have a lot to talk to you about.
I hope so. We'll have many, many movies.
Even a play.
And my birthday.
And your birthday. And a vegan market and Thanksgiving and book fair.
Thanksgiving without turkey.
Thanksgiving.
Up turkey.
We have decided that Thanksgiving from now on is going to be about giving thanks to the animals. That's my personal... That's a day that I celebrate animals. I celebrate animals every day, but especially... I think that's a good idea, right?
Why not?
I can't tell you how much we miss our turkeys. And one last thing before we go. I just discovered that turkeys love music. And they even sometimes will chirp along. And so next summer, you can expect to see me posting videos of my turkeys chirping along to Barbra Streisand.
Or perhaps Julie Andrews.
Exactly. Why not? I'll mix and match. I'll take requests for a playlist. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Very happy Thanksgiving, even if you eat turkey.
We give thanks for you. And we
give thanks for many, many things.
Well, many things, but in this podcast, we would like to mention that we're thanking you for being with us all these years.
Being loyal.
And we're looking forward to more. Bye.